Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, Juliana.
Hi.
And Michaela. And Courtney.
Hello.
How you doing?
Why is it cold again?
Is it cold outside?
I thought it was cold in here.
Oh, I talked to them about the heat and it's better, but it's not awesome. All right, I'm gonna go see if anybody's by the door. If you have laptops on, you're gonna want to pull it out. We're working on it.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna freeze. It is like that? Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I need to ask for a new light bulb. This is getting- Hey, Steph. I saw you joined at on 9 o'clock. That's early.
I got a phone call from him.
Oh, did you?
I'm still mixed up with my times, so yeah.
Oh, it's the same link. That's weird. That's really weird.
How are we doing today, guys? For class today, you are going to need a computer. So you'll pull up your, if you look at the module for today, for this week, you're going to pull up that spreadsheet link. It's a Google Sheet, actually. So pull that up. That's something we're going to mess with eventually. Hello, David. Paul, did you get a computer? You've always had a computer. Okay, all right. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, it's 10 o'clock. We're going to get started here. Today, we're talking about graphs. And then on Friday, we're going to talk about data. So a little bit of stuff in preparation for if you go on to take stats. And then next Monday, we review, and then we take our exam. After that, I forget what day it's on. Friday? I don't know. It's next week. So let's get started though on graphs. I've got some questions I want to look at with you first. Can everybody see my presentation screen? Okay, excellent. So the first kind is a circle graph, or it's also called a pie chart. It shows the relationship between parts. The key with a pie graph is that you have to have all of the data there or it doesn't work. So I couldn't have, like it needs to add up to 100%. So if we look at this one right here, the favorite school lunches, 20% plus 25% plus 55% adds up to 100%. It doesn't make sense to take a pie chart if you don't have 100% of the data. So that's one sticky thing about that. If you look at the average teenager's day, what percent do they spend sleeping? 42%. Nice hand signals, Jonah. I totally knew what you were saying. So in this next one, what we're going to do is we're going to represent the data here. So this is Dordt students by gender. Dordt is very rare in the number of males that we have on campus. Most schools have a lot more females, but we actually have more males. Some are like up to 66% female. So Dordt is rare that way, but we're going to make a graph about this. So what I want you to do is open up Google Sheet. So I have mine, but it's hidden behind this Zoom thing here, which makes it a little difficult, but I'll figure it out, I think. Man, if I could move this down. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to send this link to you just to make sure you all have it. A second. Okay, so open up the Google Doc. You all should have gotten it. All right, give me a thumbs up if you have the Google Doc or the Google Sheet opened. I see one thumb. Two thumbs. Three thumbs. 4. 5. 6, 7, 8. 9, 10. Seth, are you in there? I haven't seen your thumb yet. Zach, are you in there? Okay. Anybody not there? Okay, so the first thing, by the way, can you see my Google Sheet or do I need to change what I'm sharing? They can't see it? Okay, let me change. New share. All right, give me a thumbs up. Do you now see what I'm sharing? Okay, excellent. So the first thing, I shared with you a document that I locked. I locked it so that you wouldn't mess it up for all your classmates, because if one of you adjusted it, then it would be changed. So the first thing we need to do is make a copy. The way you do that is, you see where my cursor is here on the file. So you click File, Make a Copy. And so you're each going to have your own copy on your spreadsheet, on your File Explorer. All right, give me a thumbs up if you got a copy. Courtney, do you mind answering Paul's question? Okay, did you all get a copy or do you need help? Rebecca, are you there?
Yeah, can you restate that?
So now what we're gonna do is, if you watch my screen, I highlight cells A1 through B3, and I wanna make a graph out of that. And the way that I do that is, sorry, it's just, okay, way over on the right side here. Do you see how it's got insert chart? See where my cursor is? I'm gonna click insert chart. And there it is. So we can now see a pie chart with the breakdown of male, females at Dordt University. Did everybody get that, or does anybody have questions? Speak up now. Yeah, thanks for the thumbs up, Faith. Is it
Can you
warm where
repeat
you are,
that?
Faith? Because you're outside without clothing, warm clothing.
Yeah,
can
no,
hear.
it's fine now. Now I'm inside.
Can you repeat that, how you did that?
Okay, so we know how to do a pie chart. Now let's go on to the next thing. So I need to share this a second. Okay, so the next
My
thing I want
computer's
to
running
look
a little
at
slow.
is bar graphs. So a bar graph is a good way to compare categories of data. So if we look at this one on the right, it's scores on a fractions test with and without preparation. So you can easily see the yellow is without the preparation, the green is with preparation, and let's see, every student did better when they actually prepared for the fractions test. The graph on the left, as I prepared last night, I looked and I thought, I don't know what that's representing. But I know who is in the, let's see, who has the lowest frequency for whatever that is on the left, which country?
Japan.
My sound is not working. Okay, let me. Hey, can somebody say something to me? Because I don't have any sound.
Hello.
No, I don't. Yeah, Greta just said something again and I see nothing. Okay, let's try this. Brief moment. Go ahead and eat your breakfast, Zach, all right? Can somebody say something again to test my speaker?
Ew.
Hey, who said that?
Yeah, that was me.
Hey, awesome, good, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, let's keep going with this great party that we have going on here. So this is bar graphs. And the question I had to ask is, which country has the least frequency in this bar graph?
Japan.
Japan.
Japan, yes, Japan it is. All right, so we're going to answer some questions here from bar graphs. So practice our reading bar graphs. What was the first year that Facebook's revenue surpassed $1 billion? So absorb this. The question is the first year Facebook's revenue surpassed $1 billion.
It would be the one after 2009. You can't see it because of the thing. Wait,
Yeah,
no.
2010 was the first year it passed.
Yep.
And we can see, because it's labeled here, right there where it's still in the millions. 2010, we hit the billions. I have no idea what it would be right now because Facebook hasn't gotten any smaller since that time. All right, next question. What was the difference in Facebook's revenue from 2007 to 2008? Put your answer in the chat box. 2007 to 2008, what was the difference in revenue? I got to do it in my head. All right, nice work, guys. I'm seeing 119 million come in from all of you. Good work. Let's go on to the next one. We need to create a bar graph here. So this is the data. We're going to head back into our Google Sheet. So let me share that with you. Wrong thing. Sorry, I'm having a hard time finding it. For some reason it hid between the last time I used it and just now. All right, what do you see on the screen right now? Do you see my pie graph? Okay, awesome, great. So we're gonna look at eye color here and we need to create a bar graph. Maybe you beat me there and already figured it out, but what we do is we highlight the cells that have the data in it. I like to include the categories on top, the titles, because then they show up in the graph as well. So I highlight them and then I come over here to this beautiful place right here where it says insert chart. I insert my chart. Oh, I didn't want a pie chart though. Look what happens over here. I can select this beautiful bar graph. And so we can now see the distribution of eye color. Were you able to do that on your screens, guys? Okay, and which one was the least likely eye color?
Green.
Least likely would be green, right? That's my color, green. Okay, so let's head back to our presentation. What do you see on the screen, Courtney? Okay, let me change it. Sorry, guys. I need to close more windows when I teach so we don't have so much up here. Okay, so now we're moving into histogram. Histogram looks exactly like a bar graph, doesn't it? It's a little bit confusing, but it's actually quite different because the difference between a histogram and a bar graph is that on a bar graph, the bars don't touch. So if I go back one or two, do you see how there's a gap between the two? And the difference is that these have distinct categories. You can't be sorted between the two. Whereas in a histogram, they're not distinct, they're shoved up to each other. And these numbers about where they go, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, they could have been different. It could have been 20 to 25 and 30 to 35 and 35 to 40. It could have been smaller bars. And the reason is this data on the bottom is a number. It's a number that's not distinct. It's like a range. And so it's a little bit messier. So you choose the bins. These are called bins of how big it goes. So here we have 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15. And they need to all be the same size bin, but there's room for changing on that. So that's the difference between a histogram and a bar graph. Histograms are with like quantitative data. Bar graphs are not. So we're going to represent sleep in hours in a histogram. So head into your Google Sheet. Okay, so we've got our sleep there. And now, just like the last time, we highlight all of our data. I'm going to keep my label in there as well. And I want to insert a chart. So I come over to this insert chart thing. And I have a histogram. And the bars that I got were from 4 to 5.4 hours of sleep. That's basically not good sleep in my book. 5.4 to 6.8, again, not enough sleep for me. And then here we get in the zone where I can actually be a pleasant person throughout the day. Nobody slept between 8.2 and 9.6 hours on this. Were you guys able to get a histogram? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Excellent, good. Okay, so let's move on to line graphs then. Okay, in a line graph, it shows how data changes over a period of time. It's helpful to see trends. So for example, we see this trend, I don't know what the data is about, but it's showing the change over time from 2001 to 2004. Or if we look at the graph, the line graph on the right, we're looking at temperatures at a family reunion. And you can see, I kind of like this because it's a double line graph. The blue shows the indoor temperature, and it's pretty stable indoors. Maybe gets a little warmer during the midday, but outdoors, you can see, wow, it really heats up around the noon hour and then starts to cool off closer to 4 o'clock. So a double line graph is a good way to see change over time. So here I've got some questions for you. What product was exported most in the year 2004? Go ahead, type your answer into the chat. Paul took the liberty of just telling me. He's chatting face to face. All right, are you seeing? Yep, rice it is. Good job, guys. Next question here. How many years did the corn production dominate the export? So in how many years was corn above the other exports? Corn is the green one. Go ahead and type your answer into the chat. Yeah, 3 years or 2 years is what we're going to want, because 2005 is the first time that the green is the highest one. And notice that there are 2 cells here, so you have your half year as well. So 2005 is the first one, and here in 2006, green it still is higher, and then here in 2007, green is still higher. So 2 years difference there. The next one, which product suffered the sharpest decline in export? So one of these products had a sharp decline, and when did it experience that decline? Go ahead and put your answer in the chat box. You can type it or you can choose a letter. Yeah, B is correct. Rice had this big decline right here from 2004 to 2005. They struggled. I don't know why. I'm kind of curious what went on in the world there, that there was a sharp decline. Maybe tariffs, I don't know. So now what we need to do, you might need a calculator on this one, is calculate the total export of the three products in 2007. So in 2007, what was the total export? And you're probably going to need to round a little bit. So go ahead, give that a shot and plug it into your chat box. All right. Did I round something wrong? I got 2780. Why am I so far off? Were you a little rougher on your adding? Let's look. So for 2007, it's right here. I put down an 1150 for that one. And on this one, hey, Jonah, I agree with you. I put down a 1050. And then for wheat, I put down a 580 and got 2780. It's a little bit rough though, because the grid isn't quite as accurate as what we'd like. Let's go with Jonah's answer though of 2680. What he said, 2680? Yep, 2680. So we're gonna go with Jonah's answer because we're gonna need that on our next slide. So 2680, so 2,680 metric tons. So C would be about the closest. Now what we need to do is calculate the percentage of rice export compared to total export. So if we look here, rice is blue. Oh, gotta see where 2007 is. Ugh, I hate when I do stuff like that. Where did I put it? Okay, here we go. So 2007, rice is the blue one. Jonah, do you remember what number you used for the blue?
I think I use like 1100.
1100? Okay, we'll go with 1100 for that. So if rice is 1100 and we have a total of 2680, what percent was the rice export of the total? Go ahead, put your answer in the chat box. Good guess, Seth, but we can be more accurate. All right, I'm seeing 41%. Any questions on that? Okay, moving on to the next one. It is time for us to do one of these. So we're gonna look at ice cream sales over a week. Let me share my screen a second here. Really? Oh, that worked so easy. Why did that work so easy? Okay, so if we look at our ice cream sales here, we need to make a line graph. I'm gonna highlight A through G, rows 1 and 2. I click on my little chart thing, and Google Sheets makes it so easy that they often choose like the best chart to even display it in. So, except for they chose a bar graph, and I don't want a bar graph, I want a line graph. So I'm gonna go over here, instead of column chart, I'll choose the one that looks like a line graph. And we can now see how the sales of ice cream varies over time. What if you're selling ice cream and you had to choose like 3 days to sell ice cream on, what days would you choose in general? Anybody can speak up or you can chat. Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are the days to do it. That's when you hit the most. There's a little peak on Wednesday. I don't know if it's a mid-Wednesday slump or if it was just a warm day on Wednesday, but weekends are where ice cream gets sold. So let's head back. Can you see scatter plots on your screen right now? Ooh, this is working way better than what I thought. Okay, so scatter plots. Scatter plots are helpful when you have things that are quantitative, both quantitative. So if we look here on the left, we have diamonds, and we have the size in carats on the bottom and the price. And so there seems to be this relationship that the bigger the carats, so the bigger the diamond, it's also more expensive. And scatter plots are super helpful for that kind of information. Over here, we have the number of bacteria and the amount of sunlight. So as the amount of bacteria increases, we can see that relationship. The amount of sunlight seems to also decrease. So we can get an idea of how things are related to each other. So let's now go to our Google Sheet. And I've got this information here. Let me pull it up. On time and score. And this is information, it's the amount of time a student took, and then, oh, I didn't click on the right thing. Just a moment. This is the amount of time it took for a student to take a test, and we want to make a scatter plot about that. So again, I highlight the data, and I'm going to choose that little chart, insert chart button, and it came out as a histogram. I don't want a histogram. I want this. And I can see this nice little relationship here. Do you think there's a relationship between the amount of time it takes for a student to take the test and their score? It's not quite as clear as the examples that I showed you. It seems like maybe the middle points are some of the lower scores, so right around an hour are some of your lower scores. But the shortest amount of times way over here is real good. And the highest amount of times way over on the right is real good. And that does kind of make sense. Somebody that really knows it can come in and nail it. They can do the test pretty fast usually. And then there are those kids that really, really think about it. So that's just my guess though. So let's look back at stem and leaf plots. And you're going to have a question about this in your assignment. Can you give me a thumbs up if you've ever seen a stem and leaf plot before, or a thumbs down if you have no clue what it is? All right, some of us haven't seen it, some of us have. So let's look here. Stem and leaf is, let me scroll down a little bit. It's a way to see a lot of data quickly. So if we look here, it's got this key down here where it says 13 line 6 means 136. The stem is your 13. And then I can see all the data. So if I look here in the leaf, that means that there was a piece of data that was 136 and 139 and another 139. And this was 142, 143, 143, 143, 143, 144. So if I jump down to this 7 right here, can you type in the chat box what 7 represents? Okay, yeah, yep, you guys are getting that, 157. Same thing over here, we have a stem and leaf plot. This is student heart rate after doing a minute of jumping jacks. So this student had a heart rate of 61. I don't know if they're quite alive with a heart rate of 61, or either that or they're like super, super healthy. What was the highest heart rate for a student after doing a minute of jumping jacks? I'm curious how you got the 157. Oh, that's from the first one. Thanks. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, 151 was the max heart rate. So nice work. We are not, yeah, let's answer some questions about this. So here what we're gonna look at is how many smokers have a near ideal level of cholesterol. So if I look at this is a double stem and leaf plot because we have our smokers on the left side and we have our non-smokers on the right, and our stems are down the middle. So for example, if I have this 1-3, there are smokers over here that have a 130, a 132, and a 134, and then there are non-smokers on this side of a 130, 131, and so on, okay? So people with a cholesterol level of 129 or less are said to have near ideal levels of cholesterol. Oh, one other thing I want to say just before we get going too far. The cool thing about a stem and leaf plot is if I look at like just this and then I turn my head sideways, it looks a little bit like a bar graph or a histogram. And that's exactly what's going on there. It's just like a quick and dirty histogram, or I can turn my head this way and I can look at the smokers and see a histogram there as well. So some questions about this data. So people with a cholesterol level of 130 to 159, including both the 130 and the 159, are said to be in the border high cholesterol level. So let's look, 130 would be here to 159 here. So that group right there would be said to be in the border high. They're kind of on the edge. If we look at those that are low, that would be this right here. There's like in the ideal level. Are there more people in the smokers or the non-smokers in the ideal cholesterol level? Non-smokers, right? Okay, I gotta refresh my screen. They all fell asleep. There we go. And high cholesterol. I'm not going to circle it this time. I want you to look at it. High is between 160 and 189. Where are there more of them? All right, 160 to 189 would be right in here. Oops, I went a little too far. And there are definitely more on the smoker side. And then very high is 190 or above. And what's interesting here is there aren't any non-smokers with the very high cholesterol. So it's a pretty strong argument for a connection between smoking and higher cholesterol. Now, I don't know that smoking causes, we can't say it causes, but there's some kind of a connection there. So overall, which one tends to have higher cholesterol? The smokers, we just talked about that. And that's what I have for the day, guys. Do you have any questions on anything? All right, have a wonderful day. Anna, you said you wanted your group to stay on the chat
Yes, please.
because you are heading, let me quit my share so I can see you all. All right, Anna, you said you wanted to stay on?
Yes, please. Yep.
Okay, Courtney, is your group staying on or not? Nope, it's a Wednesday. All right, so go ahead, have a great day. Feel free to leave. Anna, if there's anybody I need to put in your room, let me know. Oh, I have to open the breakout room. That helps too, doesn't it?
I think you're still recording too.
They can all just stay on. Okay, then I'm not gonna open it. I'm kind of curious about something. Why is only Faith there?
Because I was just talking. I think you're recording still.
I'm sorry, I can't quite hear you. Let me turn my volume up even higher. Okay, Faith, what's up?
Okay, I think you're still recording.
I'm still recording. Okay,
Possibly.
stop. Yes.